Good afternoon. This is Frida Senior Trainer and International Master Sekhar Sahu welcomes you on behalf of Sports Authority of Gujarat and Gujarat State Chess Center to this intermediate training session. My topic is initiative. I'll continue. And before that, let me present some few diagrams that basically comes after initiative. So, to present with, first, I would like to show you a very cute diagram. It is black to play. Every diagram I'll give only 1 minute because uh, this is pretty easy. However, it is interesting. So, how should black continue? Black to play. The finish is pretty. Non-stop four checks. Queen check, knight check, knight check, knight check, mate. One, two, three, four. Now queen check. This is four checks. One, two, three, then fourth mate. The point is that the this overwhelming excess material of white is of no use when the king is bad. This position is white to play. Black is exchange and two pawn up, and one is pawn is about to queen. However, it has white has the white to play and win. Every diagram 1 minute. Hello Subankar, good morning, good afternoon. What should you play? White to play. Okay. This is just like last diagram. Again, series of four moves. So check, check. Cannot take back rank mate. Check and rook. There is no answer. RB8 check and knight F7 mate. Now it is helpless. Rook into F3, rook check mate, direct mate, or rook anyway check and rook into knight mate, smothered mate. This diagram again is white to play. It is finishing the game. The concluding part of an initiative. White to play and win. Quick. Once again, a series of force moves. Rook check. Queen into rook, queen into f6, and mate is inevitable. After queen into e8, queen f6, the mate is unstoppable because queen f8 does not help. So the only move is king. Now you have to just release the knight for giving queen g5 check. So dump the knight. Check. Now if bishop takes e6, queen g5 is over. If bishop into e6, queen g5 is a mate. So only move king. Not king g6, run to bishop check. So only move. But now it is going to a prose. The poetry is over. The prose. Knight into, pawn into, one piece extra. And in case he comes knight d7 to attack, look here. Anyway, the knight check and rook checkmate. Now knight f6 is unplayable. Knight into f7 and rg5 mate. So the initiative and its concluding part is always pleasant. The position black played pawn. I mean, is black is not afraid of losing the knight. However, the correct decision that white should simply take queen takes c4. White should take queen c4 with a tenable game. But white became greedy, bishop into knight, and brought his own hand, queen f5, cross pin. Now after queen into c4, the position is okay. White has no problem. Of course, white position is weak, but still there is a long way to go. But after this, after this bishop into knight, queen, now you have to bring support. Now double attack, you have to bring support. Now rook into another helpless, cannot defend, lost. All right, this position it is white to play. Sorry, black to play. It is black to play. It is black to play. Black to play. Black to play and win. Not so easy. You have to find it. Hello, Ramakrishna. Please find out how black should win this position. Quick combinations. Then you go to our main topic. He is so much underdeveloped and he left his king side in trust of God. How should black play now? Yes, yes, yes. You are right, Ramakrishna. You are right. Okay, okay. I'm giving time. I'm giving time. black to play and win. Ramakrishna says A6. No, it is it is four non-stop checks. One, two, three, four, five. Five checkmate. It is one, two, three, four, five. Bishop check, only move. You cannot decline that check. Now check. And now if king here made, or king here also made, king here also made. So the only move is F3. The only move is F3. Now third check, fourth check, and fifth check is a mate. Non-stop checks. The point is, one player will not think of queen-side check. Normally, a player will think of queen g5, queen h4, some these areas. They will think of rook g6 check. But this unusual check. There is nothing to cover, only move. Check, check, checkmate. The position is white to play and win. It is white is Yakov Astrin, black is Rantanen. Astrin versus Rantanen. No, RG1 is not correct. RG1 is not correct. You have to give queen check. Now the point is here that you need to spot the weak point. Then only you can start your initiative against that weakness. Initiative is nothing but spotting weakness and try to exploit that. All your action will be focused on that weakness. What is the weakness of black? Subrata Vishwas B4 and NC6. B4 NC6. You give the full variation. Subrat, you give the full variation. B4, queen B4, NB6, queen A3. If you play B4 and queen takes NC6, queen A3. Sometimes you give the correct answer but do not execute it properly. Now b4, queen b4, and c6, and he will play queen to a3. But then, anyway, the queen is trapped. Here, the weak point is black queen b4. You are forced to capture, otherwise you lose a piece. Forced. Now in c6 is running out of squares. The only move queen. And now knight b1. The only move is queen a4. Then queen check and any move. Then knight to c3. c3. So this is the one. So the first move b4. Not queen d4 check. b4. b4 here check. And now you have to play this move. Queen check is not correct. Queen check will run to. You can just move and you can just move. There is no danger. But then first queen controlling the a3 square. Controlling the a3 square with a check, and then the queen is trapped. Running out of reasonable flight squares. Find the weak point and take initiative. Now this is a very very common theme. It is easy to spot the weakness. Find the weakness and take the initiative. Now he is finishing the game. Find out. It's a very common theme in IQP. IQP position, very common theme. Yes, correct. The whole point is it is too slow to play bishop b1, then try to bring the queen on the diagonal, and so it is too slow. You have to prepare bishop b1, a3, queen d3. You cannot give so much time to the opponent. Suppose white is a very passive player, you can play bishop b1, a3, and queen to d3 with the attack. But d5, not giving time. Now knight f5 is bad, d6 wins. Queen d6 loses with the queen, and bishop into d6, bishop into f6 and queen equal. Bishop d6 is also unplayable. Bishop f6 structure and then queen to e4, rook or mate. So you can't do. And knight d5 loses to knight into bishop into and then rook into one piece down. So the only move here is pawn in. But then bishop into only move, knight into only move, knight into only move. Means pawn into is terrible move. Bishop check only move. Now piece up. Mate and knight. Knight is doubly attacked and piece. That means when IQP position, it should look for opportunity to advance the pawn. This position is white to play. White is having an overwhelming built up on the king side. So how should you take your initiative further? How would you take your initiative further? White to play and push the initiative further. Very correct. Ramakrishna, perfect. Bishop into c6. Correct answer. Now he cannot play bishop c6 because rook coming finishing. Rook attack, and now bishop blocks. Rook into or even queen check. You can give queen check, then rook check. No, no, no. Better give rook into. Rook into bishop. Because mate, why give queen check, pawn check, three moves and mate. Even this is also mate. Even this is also mate. Queen check, pawn check, and rook check mate. So he cannot click, he cannot take bishop into rook into c6. And now anyway rook. Idea rook into rook and bishop. So he brings a defense. Now rook into rook is unplayable, so he brings a defense with the idea rook into bishop, rook into. But now mate is avoided, but loss of material is there. Queen check, pawn check, knight check, and winning a rook. When the poetry is over, the prosaic end comes. Well done, Ramakrishna. And now this position is white to play and win. One or two more. Very quickly, let us go. How does white win? It is important to have a tactical vision because a well played strategical initiative brings the tactical end. If you play strategically, then at the end the tactics will come. Not the best move. Not the best move, Subrat. Not the best move. See, winning a game and winning precisely. Queen v5 check is a good move, but more precise moves. On queen b5 check, you will play some queen move and then queen into pawn check move. So you first check knight into knight into. Now if you play bishop into check and queen check mate. This is mate. And if you play now queen h4, queen check because the king cannot run away. The king is caught. Then check, check, checkmate. Precision. So knight f7 is correct. Next, this position is now the white queen is in front of bishop. So my question: can black play knight e4? Can black play knight to e4, attacking the queen? Is it a good move or bad move? Can black play knight e4, attacking queen? Because the knight is e4 is protected by bishop. Is this a good move? Knight e4. Okay. No, no, no. This is mouse slip. Mouse slip. Is this move possible? Is this move possible? Knight e4. Knight e4 is a good move or a bad move? I'm talking of this. Is it okay? Attacking the queen. Can somebody tell me, is knight e4 is okay? Should black play knight e4? Yes, correct answer. If knight e4, surprising knight d5. Welcome to take queen. Because after he takes no, he will get a fork and he will capture the bishop with check. Check. And now knight into queen. One pawn up. One pawn up. Winning. Well done. Ramakrishna. Knight d5 is correct answer. I think one more last position. This position, it is initiative. I mean, black has made a lot of good moves to reach this position. So, how should you play? White is Smith, black is Benny. Smith versus Benny. How did Benny finish the game? So when they finished, Master Benny finished the game brilliantly. Black to play. How should black continue? Right answer. Right answer. Bishop g3. He cannot play f into g3. F to check is finished. So, and h into g3 brings a choking mate. Bishop into g3. Correct answer. Correct. Correct answer. F into g3 unplayable. Pawn check. So only move. But then bishop s3 and bg2. Sorry. This is incorrect. Incorrect. Now bishop s3. And then bg2 brings a mating knight. Okay, queen s3 is also winning, but this is precise mate. Bishop, queen, and queen s3 and mate. All right. Mate, sakmat. Okay, one more I have got. The point is here, white is a piece down, but all his heavy pieces are in action. The simple threat rook into e6. Rook into e6 is a threat, and rook g8 fails to rook h7. Now, rook into e6 is a threat. If black plays rook g8, rook h7 and queen h5 mate. So black plays knight g5. Rook g8 fails. So in g5. How should white play now? How should white play? Right answer, Ramakrishna. Rook into h7. Not equal, it is winning. You are making mistake of last time also you made a mistake. It is plus minus separate separate. Rook h7, knight into is a mate, and rook into is also mate. Rook into h7. Only move king into. Check, check, checkmate. Well done. So we have finished all the combination. Now I will show you some games on initiative. For example, there are short-term initiative, long-term initiative. We take the initiative either for a mating attack or for leading to a winning endgame or winning material. Whatever way, the initiative to win the game. So here, normal, one of the normal regular line of Indo-Indian defense. position is nothing wrong in the opening. So he plays c5. I think here the position he could still further wait. It is desirable that black plays c5 first. It is desirable c5 or a6 b5. Then so not the best way e5. Take and knight into. So bishop comes here. Rook. The plan of black ends up in a very passive position. Rook into now another rook. So you want to seize the file. White wants to seize the file. So rook challenge. Rook into rook into. Now think about it. How to take the initiative further? You please think about the position. How you can take the initiative, winning the game. You don't have to be a Rubinstein to win the game, but this is a fantastic plan. Why to play and win? To win a well-played strategic game, you need to have tactical themes also. Think about it. White wins. Where to take the initiative? No, G4 is a good move. G4 is a good move. But there is something better. When you're going to get gold, why go for Tamba? When you are going to get gold, why go for Tamba? No, no, no. Okay, you need to spot the weak points. There are there are two important weaknesses. Okay, what are the two weaknesses? One, the back rank is not clear. The back rank is not clear. Black's back rank. And the a7 pawn is unprotected. So queen f4, pawn attack, you cannot give material because the whole from d1 to d5 it is controlled. So white black queen has nothing to do there. So he must save the pawn. And now bishop. If queen into the back rank, so you have to take pawn into. And now you have to, if you consider the file, then queen d4 will come. Then it is a plus minus. So you have to exchange queen. And the ending is winning because black ends up with a bad bishop. A very good strategic decision by white. Now there is nothing, he cannot do anything. He wants to fix that pawn, make it a target. So he comes here. Put your pawns in black squares. It is winning immediately. And now bishop, so that a4 break. A4. And now, okay, and f5. He has to just build up all the pawns in black square, and black has a very bad bishop, and the win achieved. The b6 break will come. You can wait also, you can play king d4 and come, but this wins easily. Forced. Okay, if at this point, if black plays to go to say king e7, king f8, then white king will penetrate. White king will penetrate to e5. So only waiting over. Queen a4, a6, bishop f6, I see no problem. I don't think so. I don't think. This end up with a very passive position. For example, a6, take. Now queen d1. You see no problem. So queen exchange cannot be done. So you will come over here. Queen. Now the problem will start. Bishop g4. I want to exchange queen. Now defend yourself. The only now the centralized queen. I don't think this is this position does not bring any charge. It is a semi-paralyzed position. White will play with three pieces. White will play virtually with three pieces. The king will now come to the center. It is having problem. Now I will play bishop to f5. Then I will keep on building. I will keep on building further and further. So would you believe that this position is it bring any cheer to the black player? If you move the bishop e8, then I will play pawn to c5. The queen exchange will be sooner or later will be forced. Now, if you move bishop to a4 or bishop to e8, I will play pawn c5, then bring my king either side. So, I don't agree that, okay. So, we should go to the next one. Now, who is this Steiner? Black is shallow floor. So, controller. This variation is not good. Okay, great. Mikhail Tal has played. Tal played with different ideas, not to exchange pieces. For example, after ND7, the modern move is simply knight G5. Knight G5 is modern move. You cannot dislodge that knight easily. Knight G5 gives a lot of headache. And to that extent, Garibhai Kasparov lost to Deep Blue in 19 moves. Would you believe that? Would you believe? Eh? None other than Kasparov as black lost in 19 moves. However, this move Tal used to play because he didn't like to exchange and make it life easy for black. More pieces on the board. So e6. Now the standard break is to go for c5. Okay, he played b7. Okay, c5. I believe that white has an advantage anyway. This is a self board. This is a self board. I mean, the position black has already equalized. Black will play b6, bb7, and rooks are coordinated. Very solid pawn structure. But white should play more restrained way. He can play here pawn to c3 and then develop the bishop to then rooks are connected. There is no harm, but this is bad. Of course, it is ambitious. He is looking that e7 bishop is unprotected and he is giving a threat of d5. As if black will watch and allow all that. Another bad move. So if you have to play, then why you have to go back? Eh? All right. Now black is a little better. Black has taken the initiative. You cannot allow bg4 now. Further back, when the action should have been on king side, this move is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. Now he is hoping that now what else? This is childish that he wants to give a threat bishop into bishop, queen into bishop, and rook check wins. Who you believe that? Now bishop f5 into and black is clearly better now. The position is already minus plus. The center and the coordination, black is much better. Well, it is sort of waiting move. It was more desirable to play a5. But anyway, this is just waiting. Here onwards, the game becomes now instructive. Series of mistakes by white. Now the game finishes brilliantly. Bishop attacks. So if king moves also, it is bad against queen. The pawn attacks. Takes. Now there are a lot of targets. The white king is weak. The pawn b4 is unprotected, and the center is weak. So he makes excellent operation and takes initiative very nicely. He is threatening simply knight g5 and knight f3. There is no other way. There is no good way. Knight h4 is bad. So he comes controlling. Okay. Now look here. What is that? Makagano. Now the position is very good. f4 is not coming. So regrouping the bishop. Use the piece where it should be required. Check. Takes. Attack. Now how to take initiative. Very nicely demonstrated by Saloflo. White's black's advantage is undisputed. The point is queen to b6 attacking 2 points at a time. The pressure. Queen b6 I am giving threat, rook e4 threat, queen into b4 threat, bishop into threat. So queen b6. You are more or less c5 is forced, more or less. Now queen. Suddenly is the seizing the file diagonal. Terrific position. Queen e2. A deadly threat of rook into e3. Now black is threatening devilish threat rook into e3 is defense. Now pawn into e3 is unplayable. Mate. So it dependent. Very simple now. If a tactical vision is there, queen is not important when you can give checkmate. So rook has over. But anyway, the position would have won also anyway. But even if he didn't play, the position is rather hopeless. Hopeless. Because the queen side pawns are paralyzed and such a weak king position. I don't think he will survive long. I don't think so. For example, even a move like queen a3 is very irritating. Even a move like queen a3 is difficult, but this is the perfect coordination. Finishing the game. And go for next. The position is white is Steiner, black is Laszlo Zavo. Whenever I see a game of Zavo, I feel like laughing. He was a strong grandmaster. But in Benko's life and game, he said that Zavo told him, whatever I say, you have to obey. Otherwise, I will send you to army for 2 years. Now, Zavo is black. It is a Siguri. Okay. So far, so good. The perfect line. This is all you must have seen. If you go to data, there will be at least a billion games you will find in this position. Okay. Queen c7. Now, the standard move is knight b d2. There is कोई बच्चा भी खेलेगा in b d2 or even you can close d5. d5 is bad when bishop is at c8. After bishop b7, d5 makes sense. So here knight b d2 is more correct. Perfect. Waiting. Suppose you play pawn into pawn bb7, still d5 is played. Now bb7 is not good. Then black like Karpov style or there are many grandmasters. Even Anand the split d5 is okay. But bad move. I don't understand. Of course, this was 1948. So you have to bear with it. The reason is if you delay, suppose you play normal move, if white can play b3, then you cannot bring the knight back to b6. You will have to have problem. So right now, to meet before white plays b3, he brings the knight. Okay, black is all set now. and he is planning to play just develop the bishop pawn into d4 and seize the c5 operation. Now ready. Next move pawn takes pawn and black has counterplay. This is bad. Now Tal Fisher strategy, of course, when the bishop was at c1, normally two great grandmasters, they play here pawn into e5 and knight f1, knight e3 with excellent play. But now this bg5, bh4 makes no sense, leaving the dark squares weak on the queen side. So b4 is not great. a5 will come. b4, black has a5. Now the point is, queen into c3, black also wins a pawn. After queen c3, he can play rook c1 and pick up the e5 pawn. Now the game is very interesting is because now the player's thought process, how it goes, just see. Very interesting game. Now calculation. So he takes the pawn, white also will take the pawn into and knight into. The reason is the e4 and e7, both the pieces are hanging against the rook e1. So he will get back his material. The calculation is correct. I do not dispute. Here, take. Now, you cannot do the pin. The e4 is attacked. So, comes bishop into, rook into. Okay. Now, if you look at the material position, we have 5 pawns. Now, he brings. So, black can save the game. He can come f5, right? Now, he plays bishop into knight, defending. Because anyway, he cannot avoid. Now, both the bishops are under attack. The c4 bishop is under attack. C7 bishop under attack. So he plays a cool. So he comes f3. Okay. How do you evaluate the position? Now black to play. Evaluate the position. The point is now when sometimes players are in a frame of mind, they are counting only material. I win this one, I take this one, I win this one. Now he plays pawn push. Now the point is he can play d5. Now you cannot save the bishop anymore. Suppose the white bishop moves, bishop c5 and black will pick up. If you save anyway you are losing. But now there are 5 pawns. What do you think of bishop into b5? What do you think? Bishop into b5. You play bishop c5, you take another pawn. And if you take the bishop, I move the knight. So, what do you think of the move bishop into b5 now? Should we win the pawn? There are on the board 5 pawns. Bishop into b5. You play bishop c5, I will take the pawn. Or you play ab5, I will play nd5. So, what do you think? Suvankar, now the question is, white can win a pawn. White can win a pawn. Bishop into b5. Now, idea bishop into a6. I agree with Ramakrishna. I agree with Suvankar. Black is better. Not black better. Black is winning. He took bishop takes pawn. Materially, calculation is all right. But strategically, white is lost. Strategically, white is lost. Check. The whole point is, this is a position already where almost end game. There is no middle game, no tactics, no combination. But the position of color complex and a mating attack. The position, believe me, it is a betting attack. Now, there are 4 versus 3. The material has become 4 pawns versus 3 pawns. But, okay, if you do this, now he is preparing h6, sorry, h5 g4. So, before that, what else? The threat is bishop f2. becomes forced. If you take pawn into pawn, g3 wins. Pawn into f3, g3 is finished. So he comes rook into and unstoppable. Would you believe that? Would you believe? So the whole point is a player while calculating material, I win a pawn, you win a pawn, I take this, I take that. You have to also see strategic changes. A position of unbelievable color complex wins. All right, next. Zero versus Christian. A very instructive game. Okay. The position standard move is pawn into pawn. After pawn into pawn, white has got a slight advantage. Plus equal. Pawn into pawn into. Now bishop d3. Now he plays suppose castle or pawn push. The knight should go to e2 because knight e4 will exchange unnecessary some pieces. Knight into bishop f5. Sorry, bishop f5, and then you take then queen check. It is a draw. Now the pawn is already on d4, so you can only exchange. It's a draw. But the white maintains the edge, not knight e4, but knight e2. Definitely white is better. Definitely white is better. Because after castle, white black will play either bg4 or queen. He will just play. Now white castle, black castle. He will play bg4, f3, bishop h5. b4, bb2 gives advantage to white, according to the opening encyclopedia. And I think I agree. That is clear plus. White gets a very good winning chances. But instead of playing this, our friend is a deadly player. I like Ciro's style. And his two fantastic books, Fire on the Board and Fire on the Board Part 2. Unfortunately, because of his lifestyle, he has lost a lot of his fire and a great player. You could see that he was playing in the style of Mikhail Tal. They are from the same town. There is the another player now in the arena, Dubo. He also plays in the same style. Just fire. Now he plays here Bishop D. The drawback of the move is now he can push and now he. So in such a situation, the break is dangerous because you will white will end up with a weak e4 pawn. So this is only equal. There is no more advantage with white now. So bd3 is not justified. Anyway, after the move, castle. Now this is necessary. If you play f4 immediately, bg4 or any so prophylactic move, control both the knight and bishop cannot come. Restrict some of opponent's minor piece. The golden rule. h3. Now the point is f4 break is difficult. Difficult. You need to protect e4 before you break. Now this is not a very aggressive setup. Take, and now knight. The idea a solid blockade at e5 point. Now the game should be equal. I mean, white has played now knight f6, queen has to come back. After knight f6, queen e2, knight d7 equal. There is no win. I mean, not easy winning plan. After knight f6, the queen has no good square around. So queen has to return. Then again knight d7 back. But d6. This is not correct. I will tell you, of course, Grishchuk is a younger grandmaster, so more ambitious. So they are not happy to draw a game so easily with so many pieces. So knight f6 is simple. Should be happy to equalize the position. But this is bad. Now white will grab the initiative. What white should do? What are you going to do now as white? We should not stretch a game beyond one limit. Now black has already burnt his hand instead of simple knight f6. Now, if you retreat, then you get nothing. Suppose queen will retreat to f3. I don't see a easy plan. It is equal. After you retreat, simply f6 will come and there is nothing. Nothing you can count on. So, queen h6. Now, the initiative is very powerful. What is the threat now? The threat is to play e5, pawn e5, and then knight h5. After pawn e5, and the attack is unstoppable. So black queen must hurry up. I guess Grischuk, perhaps he was considering this and he thought it is safe. Now if you give time, then pawn e5 white will play. And there is no stopping knight h5. Finish. So he quickly played queen. Idea, he will push the queen and equal. Not really. Not e5 anymore, but bishop g5. You have to challenge. Now queen. Now white has got five pieces already, and he will double the rook. So Grischuk had to repent for not playing knight f6 at that point. So knight cover up. Only there is no square left, unfortunately, and then knight f5. The point is, if you play pawn into knight loses. Pawn into knight loses. Now pawn into, and now if you attack the queen, white will ignore the queen and take pawn. Knight into queen, mate, checkmate. So you cannot do that. You cannot do. So here he plays bishop into knight to ward off the attack. So still, black thinks the game in control because the dark square no penetration and the game is about equal. But after pawn into knight into d3, okay, what else you will do? Eliminating an important attacking piece. Take, and now he played queen back. Rook. The initiative is now simply you want to double the rook and also pressure on d4, e4, double pawn into. Now the point is after knight into f4, pawn into f7 check. You are forced to take with the king and then heavy pieces. Now knight f4 is refuted. Knight f4. A deadly check. You cannot decline. Takes. Now this is too much. The queen attack. Queen f7 threat. And this is a discover attack. Would you believe he will survive? Now if you go queen somewhere, he will give bishop to b8 discover check. Suppose you go somewhere, queen coming to e7 or d6, he will give queen e6. You can't go to a black square. After queen is b8. I think you will lose material. Lose material. Even b5 loses material. So you can't allow discovery. Hopeless position. So you cannot take the knight into pawn into pawn. You have to take pawn. Now the rook penetrates. End of the game. Rook f8. You see, you back rank you have to watch. Both the rooks are tied down because rook f8 is a mate. That means if I can join that f8 square, it's a gate. Let us say queen goes last somewhere to queen b5. He can play queen e7. So the only move, but then rook check. You can't give the queen and two rooks at only move. Not rook into h7 check. There is no danger. King g8. So you can't take discover checkmate. But now rook into h7 check. Here finish. Finish. What a beautiful game. The whole point is a lesson from the game. You should not stretch beyond a point. रबर को खींचने से टूट जाता है. You can't stretch a rubber band up to certain point. Yeah, Ramakrishna, Queen h6 was right at that time. Busy Anand versus Jan Timon. I like this game. The master of initiative, Vijaya. Browser attack. You can also wait pawn to f3 with hoping h6 then b3. You can also play this move, but this is ruled out nowadays. Because if you play a mistake, then I will come back b. So here, black can play knight in knight, even black can play h5. Since he has not castle, he can stop the g4 pawn. He can stop. So here, castle, correct. Now you have to commit. The reason is the moment queen move or bishop comes, he can play knight into knight and bishop into f6 and then queen into. There is no target. Earlier, what happened? There was some counterplay on f2, on b2, but now b7 is not the best move because b7, bishop into bishop, knight into knight, then bad king side, and also he cannot afford to lose a pawn. So he plays bishop, challenging. Of course, it was possible, but the grandmaster said two bishop I have compensation. White plan is clear, advancing the kingside pawns. You will give him a strong initiative. No problem. Now he can just develop. Of course, king b1 is a possibility, but completes b bd3. Take. Now white has initiated. The reason is now he has exchanged the knight. There is no attack is coming, unlike Anand and Karyakin, or unlike Kasparov and Muzovezian. So there is no minor pieces around. The white king is very safe. So there is no attack coming. Now knight is heading. Now knight g3 and pawn g5 or knight f4, g5. Knight h5 is very bad because in g3 you are forced to take practically opening the h5. So knight e8. Why black pieces are very passive. So white should press. This is the time. Very quick. Want to play pawn to e5. The queen is artificially placed at c8. Normally, when you leave the diagonal a5, invariably I have seen games that black comes in trouble. I saw a recent game in Gujarat Senior State Championship, game between Kartabya Unadkat versus Kusal Jani. Similarly, the queen was placed and got into trouble. Now, b3, knight. You cannot play e5. nd5 will kill. nd5, then nf5. So, no e5 is possible. Idea, pawn to h5 and g6 or direct g6 sometimes. You can see the white initiative. Black is too slow. Black has a plan, but the speed of white attack is much faster. a5, a4, x is too slow. Now he is threatening e5, so that no nd5. But then white strikes fast. Now I want to open the g5, and that's the end. e5 is not possible. Now e5, h6. You take pawn into. Idea queen s2. There is no time to take the piece. Queen, or you take pawn also. So this is e5 is ruled out. And if you play something like f into g, pawn into, same queen s2 is coming. Idea knight into and sack. This is also lost. But sub h6. Typical tal, la tal, tal like move. Force open the h5. Cannot take that, of course. If you take king into, then this is finished. Bishop into finish. So only move rook. There you should not give time because once rook d7 comes, black will register. So you should not allow rook to be a defender before a rook comes strikes it. Check. If If you go king h8 is a mate, so only move, lost. Apparent discover check, unstoppable. 97 discover check, 95 discover check. The queen is lost or he will get mated. Check, finish. Very well played by Viziana. A nice game. The speed is Sicilian. It is important when there is opposite sides castling, whose attack is much faster. Is it black or white? Sometimes a player gives material to speed up the attack. So I will show you two games today. To speed up the attack, the player gives material. Nasdaq, Scavengerian, English attack. Now if you white plays g4, then black will play knight to b6, making a room for the knight at b7. Then he can play bb7, rook c8 with a standard activity on the queen side. So instead of this variation, he goes for direct castle. Now bishop b7, now knight b6. Sooner same thing. So gunning at the b6, unprotected. So different. Otherwise, knight into e6 is coming. You must respect that. So well played. Rook. Now white has completed development and ready for activity. Standard h4, g5, h5, and then rook coming and attack. Well, how should you play? I am giving you black. How should black continue? It is all about initiative. But the games which are picked is initiative resulting in a king side attack. Now, black's initiative, of course, you see, if black was on e7 and he has castled, a player will not think twice. Imagine black has castled, simply he will play rook into c3, queen and rook finish. Now, rook into c3, black has to complete development. Then he can attack. However, still rook into c3. In my opinion, this looks like premature, but Kasparov's calculation is far excellent. Imagine his rating is 2851 in that the year was 2000. If you think of the inflation, it is like 3020 or 30 now. The rating would be current 3020 or 30. So he has given it so that there is no choice. He will put white on complete defensive. The point is the attack may succeed or not. The initiative will keep black completely on the receiving. You defend. That is the rule now. You have to take threat. Defended. Now I want to castle quickly. The further knight a4 will not yield anything. So quick castling. Castle. Now the difference is white can attack provided he gets 2-3 tempos. Suppose you allow him there some h4 h5 and it is his move. Then white attack will come. But those two moves he will not get. Before that black will overpower. Tempo. Now this is a bad move. This is bad. Now I will tell you the whole concept is as if black will oblige him. After bishop c1, he thinks that knight into pawn, knight into, queen into, and bishop b2, end of black's attack. It is naive. It is not forcing. He can take his own time. So it was better instead of wasting the move. Already he is behind in time in the race. He should start h5, g1, and try to open. Time is so precious. Exchange he has given, maximum he can recover. Then you can come. Knight into c3 is bad now anyway. Because you will take and play bishop d4. So it was better to play h5. And after knight, you should play h6. Should have given him some hope of survival. But bad move. Hoping opponent will make a bad move like knight c3. Now knight. Fantastic. Absolutely. Now there is no problem now. He comes trying to attack too slow now. Lost a valuable tempo. The central punch. Freeing move. Well, this is bad. Queen g2 bad. Anything. Suppose you play h6 now. Now I will close. It is not easy. Not easy. So he comes here. Bishop d6. Reverse attack. f4 is not good. F4 is bad. Knight into d3 and pawn into e4 will come. So f4 is bad. bf4 is also not good. b4. I will open the b5. Forced. Knight into d3. The threat of nd3 forces him. And now pawn press. You can't take that pawn. Too much to handle. Too much. So this is virtually lost. No time to take the knight e5 knight. So you cannot play. It is too late. The Sicilian is double-edged. The English attack. Double-edged. Now b4 comes. So after bf4, b4, b6, b4. So queen moves. The idea that he is opening up force. Now rook into d3, de4 winning. Losing material. He will have to keep back exchange and black attack will continue. So here pawn into. The idea is to open the black diagonal. It is not the material, the initiative, the attack counts. So you should not think of recovering some of the material. B4. Now there is a mating plan. The whole point is now queen c2 check and pawn into pawn and bishop check. First he will play pawn into pawn. You capture any pawn. Now queen check. Now queen f1. He can play pawn into. The reason is the e4, the d4. Pawn should not come to d4. If you play pawn into, if you play pawn d3, then finish queen check, bishop check, finish. Queen check, bishop check will finish the game. So bishop, queen check. Now bishop check, he has a defense. If you play b5 check, the pawn is d4. So eliminate. After this, finish. I think this is anyway winning. 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 Not able to defend. Because on the h2 point and knight c1 also loses to bd4. Knight c1 loses, I think. So this is attack is anyway coming. What is the line here? What is the line I'm missing here? Now bb4 is also interesting. bb4 is also interesting. d4 I told you it is bad because of check. Now check. This is made. So bb4 is also winning. fe4 then bishop into. The idea, the threat of bishop check. Now d4 b5 wins. And now rook g1 also loses to queen. The knight is under attack. Finish. Mate is unstoppable. Because rook d2, queen into c1 is a mate. Backrank mate. Very strong initiative. Very strong initiative. So I would not say that rook into c3 is winning, but the initiative puts black in complete defensive. Rook into c3, this is not a winning. But the whole point is psychological. That after this, a player must non-stop find correct moves. And clock ticking, there is every little chance that a player will make mistake. After pawn into, you see he made the mistake. Now, this is a psychological mistake. You should have continued with h5. Good or bad? Okay, right. Next. One more game, I will have time. One more last game. Tomorrow is a Sunday, but I will continue. I will continue both sessions tomorrow, and Monday I will take off my weekly off. Normally Sunday or Wednesday I take. So Sunday I will continue tomorrow because there will be many viewers will be there since school will not be there. So it is an opportunity to go live for many. So I will continue tomorrow both session and keep Monday. Now let's go to the next game. Ready? The position is very famous and must have seen by many. So knight g5. It is very common. The idea, if you take the S file is open, direct mate. The mate threat is direct. So the only move. Now on it. Now the point is, if you give rook h8 check king into queen checkmate, but rook h8 check king will run. You have already given a piece. You have already given two pieces. Your knight and the rook. So if you go now queen g6 with the idea rook check and rook h8 mate, you will take a check. Queen into check. Suppose pawn into bishop or queen, there is no check here. This is a finish. I will blow queen with the idea rook h8 and queen h7 mate. So you have to hunt. Yeah. Now the plan is very simple. You want to go queen, idea rook h8 check and mate. With the idea you go rook h8 check and mate. So run, run for life. Before you could play queen to g6 and mate, run. Where you run? Huh? जहां जाएंगे हमें पाएंगे. Water, water everywhere. Where you will shelter. Check, 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 check. Some, just some fun. Two bishop, queen and rook. Now mate threat. C7 checkmate. One or two checks, nothing will happen. After C1, king will go to E1 and get a salter at G2. Suppose you go queen C1 check, the checks will run out. Check king, 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 no check, no good check. No good check possible. So queen C1 is nothing. So here replace queen. And looks like that black is surviving. Looks like that. But check, check, and now bishop. You got to take it along queen C7. So the whole point is that, of course, such a position it is not normally, but it came occurred in the game Apollo versus Ponomari, famous combination. But the initiative is too much. One more, one more, because this was nothing discussed. So again, Karyakin versus Vizian. You can see that Black has already destroyed the White's castle position, and White has been slow to open up the other side. So Black should have an attack, but finding an attack is not easy because the knight on e8 and rook on f8, it is difficult to join, bring the attack quickly. So Anand makes the correct move, rook f5, with the idea then queen will come and bring the attack. Now the standard move earlier, queen b4, attacking the b2, b2, b3 pawn and bb6 threat was equal. After queen b4, the game should end up in equality. But White became over ambitious. The reason is after queen b4, he is not guarding the knight to join. Queen c3 stops the knight as well and threatening the pawn as well. It's a bad move. After queen b4, the game should be equal. The pawn is attacked. bb6. Now you have to play to stop bb6 and now bb6. You have to play and queen takes pawn. It should be equal. And after queen into now knight c2. And should be equal in the position. But White is more ambitious. The young grandmaster, Karyakin, he thought that Queen c3 is the same idea, but in the variation you are not allowing the knight to come. The b3 pawn is attacked. Now he plays bishop. So you are no knight. But knight comes anyway. Anyway. Anyway he comes. Now you have a choice to take the knight or take the pawn. If you take the knight, you are leaving the pawn like a sword on your head hanging. And if you take the pawn, the knight joins that. So he decided to take the knight. Come, what let us see. So material versus attack. Finally. Now bishop c1 is not working on account of queen c6. It is a mate only. Idea knight check, queen a2 with the idea and hardly any defense is there. Idea knight a3 check, pawn into queen c2, queen a2. So bishop coming is not working. And here if you play bishop d4 is also not working. Idea rook into forced and now knight into. No time. Rook is cutting off. Check and now queen check and ready to like Edward Buford versus Bagheera. No. Yeah, I think Buford versus Bagheera or Messel. Buford. Again a mate threat. The c2 is a mate. So only move. The only move and winning. Just like in that style, Buford Bagheera. Buford did similar things. So this is winning again. So the only move here after knight c4, he played pawn g6. Pawn into. After pawn into, that file is not able to open. So he plays knight into check and winning. There is only one check. Queen into pawn. There is only one check. That's all. So he took pawn into. Idea, I will deflect the rook. The main idea now, wherever the king goes, black can promote the pawn with a knight check or queen check or deflect. So he comes knight check. Doesn't matter. Though it is a deflection, there is no respite. What else? Now check, check. King into pawn will mate in 3. King into pawn is mate. Suppose you play king into pawn, queen a4, rook c2, finish. So only move, check, only move, check, only move, check. And now rook check, queen check, mate, or queen check direct. Now the king will run away to e1, but that is mate on e2. Now king will run away. Suppose you go here, rook check and queen e2. So beautiful game by Vijayanand, dumping the knight. You have a choice. So queen c3 was not good. The theoretical queen b4, I don't know. Anand must have prepared something for that. So otherwise you would not have repeated that variation. So it is difficult what was in Anand's mind. All right, friends. Thank you very much for being with me. I will meet you tomorrow morning 9:30 and tomorrow 3:30 again for the next session. 9:30 to 11:30 and 3:30 to 5. Okay. Take care. How many games I wanted to show you? I could not. How many games left? Lot of games. Lot of games. Here, 8, 7 games I could not show. Okay, never mind. See you tomorrow.